Without a shadow of a doubt, it's the Cronkite Show in social media history. I want to welcome you to True Black Media, man. It's the War Zone. And I got my co-host, Donovan Sadiq, the Queen, Demetra K, and I am the 5-star general. Say, man, it's been a wild day. Ground Zero, Tulsa, Oklahoma. Black Lives Matter, Trump supporters, Antifa. They all in the building, man. Y'all better get ready, man, because we about to go in, man. Say, man, I want to welcome you to another edition of the War Zone. And as we normally start off every night, we couldn't do none of this without you. It wouldn't even happen. We couldn't even think about doing this without you. So I wanna let you know, man, I've been up since early this morning. And they got some crazy folk up here in Tulsa, Oklahoma, man. But I've been in the middle of it, and I just been just as crazy as them. And I like when they buy me drinks and Cuban cigars. Got love for them. But I'm gonna turn this over to Demetra. What's going on, Mama?
Hello there, everybody. How are you this fine Saturday afternoon, evening, depending on what part of the country you're in? So, as Gary just said, he is in Tulsa, Oklahoma, the heart of the madness. I don't know if you got a chance to watch some of the lives that he did, but it's, yeah, you have a whole lot of characters out there. So anyway, we're going to get into a little bit of that. And Gary, what's on the menu today?
Oh, what you mean?
What we talking about?
Man,
we discussed it earlier.
Some of you people are just too dumb to vote. And we're gonna talk about that tonight. Now I want you to you're gonna have to stay tuned in and don't walk away, because some of y'all are just too dumb to actually vote. And that tells me why we got the representation that we got, because you don't have a clue who the hell you voting for.
So yeah, basically we're saying, some people really shouldn't be able to go into the booth because they have no idea who they're voting for, why they're voting. They're just voting possibly because a meme told them to do it. Their grandmama told them to do it. And so we're going to get into it. So Donovan, what's happening with you?
Oh, man. First thing I saw this morning was the arrest of that one lady who had a ticket to the Trump rally. And she sat when she got past the initial doors, and she sat, and they arrested her anyway. But if you saw the video that I saw, they arrested her, right? They knew the reporters were looking, and they sat her in the front of the patrol car as a white woman. Now, how many of y'all ever get arrested? Not that everybody does, even on a TV show, and they put you in the front. Now, if that's not white privilege, I don't know what is. But you see the difference in how they treat certain folks that don't have a certain skin tone versus people that do. So I was just like shocked. It was just like, there it is right there for the whole nation to see what the problem is in this country.
Right. And so Gary is down there. And in case you guys missed it, he is down there because Trump is holding his campaign kickoff today. Originally, he was supposed to have it yesterday on Juneteenth, right there in the heart of Tulsa, Oklahoma, where the Black Wall Street took place. The race massacres is what people are calling it, but basically where a bunch of white supremacists murdered Black people for being upwardly mobile and doing what they were supposed to do out of jealousy and hate, all that kind of stuff. And so Gary went down to another ground zero, right, to talk to the people out there and see what's going on. To get a feel.
Wait, real quick, I hate to interrupt you. He didn't go down there to see what's going on and stuff like that. He went down there to be among his people.
Whatever.
I was sitting there with my peoples, man.
Right. So he was. I don't know if you want to claim those people because you was talking to some real some. I won't say what I think they are, but they were special. How about that?
Well, that's the people that you got to see on video. I've talked to thousands of people since I've been here. And some of these people are very, very intelligent people, and they have their reasons as to why they support their guy. So, they understood when I said I was down balloting as far as voting, and they respected the fact that I didn't want to vote for Trump because I say, he's a character. I'm just not gonna run with that. And then, but they loved me when I said I wasn't voting for Biden. That's how I got the Cuban cigar.
So yeah. So anyway, Trump right now, I guess I don't know if he's speaking now, but he is getting ready to speak. And from what they were telling us, it was going to be, hundreds of thousands of people were going to be out there. It was going to be standing room only. Now I got an opportunity to look inside of this. I don't know exactly where it is, but this space that's pretty big from what I can see. There is like bald spots in the building. There's like a bunch of empty seats. But one thing I did notice, Gary, is that hardly anybody's wearing a mask.
No, they're not really into the mask thing. I mean, you got to remember that they wanted to stop this whole rally in regards to the COVID-19, and they tried to go to court and everything, and the courts told them that they couldn't stop it. So they just kind of left it up to people if they wanted to wear the masks or not.
I mean, it looked like people were not wearing masks.
Well, I'm gonna say this here because I've said it before in regards to COVID. I'm from the city of Houston, and the only thing look like is completely shut down is government. Mm-hmm. We can go in clubs, we can go in stores, we can go everywhere, but we can't speak at a city council meeting. We can't speak at a school board meeting. We can't speak at commissioner's court. So for me, I keep my immune system pumped up. For y'all that worry about me drinking enough water, because my condition, drunk a bunch of water today, cold packs on my neck. I mean, the whole 9 yards. And the way that I feel about it like this here, man, I got a day to go. And when God tell me that's my time to go, then I'm gone. So, hopefully it's in the middle of eating a T-bone and I can go up there wherever I'm going to go, either up or down, the upper room or the lower room. And I can honestly say I didn't die hungry.
Right. Well, in the meantime, I think we're having a little bit of feedback. In the meantime, why don't you get you a mask? That way people don't have to worry about you.
I got masks, but man, let me tell you something. When it's 100 degrees outside and you out there in that heat, man, that mask ain't working, man. That mask will suffocate you out there in that heat, man. So, even if you put the mask on, you eventually gonna come out that mask. And but I will honor that request from you guys to wear the mask. But I'm not gonna wear it all day. That's all I can say, because it suffocates me. And I'm being honest with you. I mean, I've been living all my life without having to wear a mask. That's a problem. They need to fix whatever the problem is so I don't have to wear one.
Right. And I will say this, I've had the mask on and it's hot. I don't like it at all, which is why I try not to go out as much if I don't need to. But, Gary, just really seeing some of the people you talk to, and I don't know people in the Trump crowd per se, but they're not all the way wrapped tight. You know what I mean? And so...
But the dude they're talking to, which is me, ain't all the way wrapped tight either. So that they don't want no problem. I'm like Chance the Rapper. You don't want no problems with me.
I guess the point that I'm making is they don't even believe the coronavirus is real. They think it's a hoax, this, that, and the other, which will tell you how dumb they are. And I don't like to use that word a lot with people, but Trump asked them to sign a waiver in case they caught the Rona. So it's like, does it exist or does it not exist? And if it doesn't exist, then why do I got to sign a waiver in case something happens to me there?
Well, the waiver is going to become the normal, because I'm telling y'all, the waivers are going to come when the kids go back to school. When some of y'all get to go back to your regular jobs, because some of y'all are still off, you're going to have to sign these waivers. So, but I get it. Trust me when I tell you, you did have a lot of people out there social distancing, but, and wearing their masks, but you had some that were not. So, but it's what it is. For me, I'll honor that request from y'all, because y'all look out for me. So I got to make sure I don't drop dead at the next Trump rally.
Thank you very much. All right, so moving right along, Gary, and we're going to get into our topic at hand. But Gary, tell us about some of the interesting people. Who was the most? Wait, okay, let me scratch that, because I have a lot of questions. I'll start with this. I was having a conversation with Al, as a matter of fact, and he was saying how he thinks Trump is going to win by leaps and bounds. And not Trump, Biden. Biden is going to win by leaps and bounds. It's not even going to be close, and this, that, and the other. And I said, well, Trump got about 8% of the black vote or black voters last election season. And from what I understand and what I've read, I am seeing a lot of black people saying they're going to vote for Trump. Specifically, a lot of black men are going over toward the Trump side, and most of them are citing because of economics, that Trump is showing them how to get to the money. And so the black people you spoke to today, what was their, let's say, the number one reason or some reasons they said they were voting for Trump? Because we saw whole families out there, black families, donning Trump from head to toe. So what was their reasons for voting for Trump?
Well, first of all, when I got up this morning, I had a plan that I wanted to show people, back at home, because the news is not going to show you this. I wanted to show them that there are African-American people here, and they're deep. That ain't just a couple of people I ran into. It's a lot of black folk that was here, and their number one reason as far as voting for him is they feel they've made more money under Trump than they made under Obama. And I know some people will say, well, that's not true. You don't know those people's financial situations. So, if that's their reasoning, then I can only go by what they tell me. But to think that African Americans are not going to vote for Trump, I see it. I just walked in the hotel room. So I'm just finished talking to a bunch of African Americans. And the only reason I couldn't just get everything on the phone, it was so hot. When your phone get too hot, it'll cut off. So that was the problem. I started having connection issues because a lot of things wasn't going to work with the phone being overheated. But I also noticed that there was a large contingent of people from Texas that were at this rally. And I'm talking about people where we started talking about Sylvester Turner, Latinos. Oh yeah, they here. And they not feeling the Democrats. So, the thing is to even think that African Americans won't vote for him. I think I showed y'all this morning that you might have a problem.
You also spoke to a gentleman, a black guy, actually, he was selling stuff there, who said that one of the reasons he's voting for Trump is due to the Second Chance Act, which, and it sounds like he got out of prison due to the Second Chance Act, and I guess he would have done 5 to 6 more years.
He actually got out 5 years early, and he said that was because of Trump. So unless you've been in jail and them folk crack the door and tell you, man, you ain't got to do this last 5, or who you think he was gonna vote for? Because he was locked up under Obama. So yeah, that was his reasoning that Trump allowed him to get out of jail 5 years early.
Right. And so, and those are just many reasons. Now, again, I can only speak for myself. I am not a Trump supporter and I'm not a Biden supporter, but I think it really just, Gary being out there at ground zero in Tulsa, Oklahoma, really illustrates to the people who think, oh, well, no black person in their right mind, as Biden said, if you don't vote for me, you're not black. it really shows everybody watching that there are a lot of Black people who are going to put their check mark for Trump for a whole lot of reasons. Now, some of them did say they wasn't too in love with his personality from what I saw you talking to people and stuff like that. However, Trump is showing them how to get to the money. And I don't care what you say, Black people need to know how to get to the money. Donovan?
Well, number one, Trump is showing you how to get to the money by being as corrupt and as immoral as possible, because today, as you guys know, he fired the attorney general that's investigating him. So America's history, when it comes to this money, it's all about cutting corners and cheating those who need to be cheated. Like I said, a sucker is born every day. That's what it's about. And I'm not saying that makes him a bad person. That's just how the system works. So, I mean, he's showing you in real time, dead in your face, that, hey, I can get away with this. I can do with this. I've got the power. What they say in a lot of rap songs, with the power comes the money.
And let me just speak to that too. So yeah, Trump is a very corrupt individual, but I think when a lot of Black people, especially a lot of Black men that I spoke to in regards to him showing them how to get to the money, they mean, you know, with the tax breaks, the stocks. Like I said, I told y'all, I know a dude personally who, well, hell, y'all know who I'm talking about, but he made about over $200,000 in the stock market since the COVID started. So that's what a lot of Black people are talking about. Not the corruption stuff, you know, stuff he's doing on his own level, but just a lot of the things that they have access to. Because as Walter always says, the stock market don't know what color you are. So, Gary?
I'm going to read Tasha Bunger's comment. Trump is a big crook, showing how, I guess, to be crooked. Let me see if I get this right. Trump is a crook. Obama was crooked. The Bushes was crooked. Reagan was crooked. Carter was crooked. LBJ was crooked. So who is he more crookeder than? Politics in a whole is nothing but big business behind closed doors. And whoever can make the best moves are going to make the money. Trump is doing nothing no differently than any other president before him. As much as I dislike Sylvester Turner as being the mayor of Houston, let's get this straight. I don't have a personal issue with it. But Sylvester is not doing nothing more than any mayor that's been over the city of Houston. So when you look at the level of corruptness, come on, man. Are we serious? We're going to have to come up with some better excuses. And like I said today on the live, y'all steady worrying about Trump, man. Y'all need to go register some people to vote, man. You just don't run up in no races like that and beat an incumbent to death. He got the money to play the game, man. Politics is about money, man. And he got more than enough money to play the game. Y'all need to go and get your people registered and get them folk out there, man, to vote. Because look like that forgotten vote, Demetri and Donovan, that 18 to 25. Who was I talking to today? 18 to 25, and they just switched over to Trump.
And you know the other.
Real quick, well, I'm not surprised that they've switched over. I mean, how Bernie Sanders was done by the Democratic Party, it kind of showed them, hey, you know, not saying that, you know, the Republican Party's any better or any less, but if I was 18 or 25 and I see how the Democratic Party is running the party, and this is just my opinion. Yes, Trump is corrupt. But as far as the parties are concerned, you're seeing more Democrats getting caught up in scandals and corruption than you're seeing Republicans. So, you know, it doesn't faze me that they're going to that side. And like you say, 5-star all the time. Look at the districts controlled by Democrats. Was Trump wrong when he said Baltimore's a shithole? I don't think he was.
Say, man, let me tell you something. I'm reading some of these comments. And it's like we got beef with Trump. No, let me tell you what the problem is. The best thing that happened to Black America was Donald Trump. Listen to me. I need you to hear me. You remember when we were younger and we played football at Cullen and Ryan, and we were automatically slotted to go to Yates? It didn't really matter who coached the team because they got all the talent. So as soon as they started decimating the Black schools, the actual ability of the coaches were then exposed because they had to start coaching and they didn't know how to do it. So when I think about, what Trump has done, is similar to that in my mind frame, because Trump has exposed to you Black people that your party is messed up. They've been getting away with doing something for so long. They never banked on the fact that you were going to have to start thinking for yourself. And now you have to think for yourself and you all over the place. That's all it is with me. I woke up, I'm going to be honest, I was asleep, but I woke up 8 years ago. So I'm 8 years ahead of some of y'all. You need to understand that you're going to have to do the research. You're going to have to know what these people are about, their voting records, their history, everything that you need to know before you walk into that voting booth. Because as usual, if you go with status quo, you're going to put the wrong people in place. And we already see where that's getting us.
And then also in regards to people, and I'll say Black people who are voting for Trump, at least those people are voting their better interests, whatever it is. But most of y'all who are voting for Joe Biden, the number one thing that's going to roll up out your mouth is we need to vote for Biden to get rid of Trump. How does that serve your better interest just to get rid of Trump? What else do you get for getting rid of Trump? And so when a Black Trump supporter says, well, I'm voting for Trump because, he's more business friendly, the tax cuts, blah, 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 or, whatever their reasons may be, I was able to get out of jail 5 to 6 years earlier under the second chance. At least they have a reason for doing it. But we've asked this I'd say 20 times on this show. What are you getting to vote if you vote for Biden other than getting rid of Trump? And no one has answered it at all. Now, in regards to people saying that, they're making more money under Trump, I think it really speaks to more of a Republican base, because we know the Democratic base, and again, I don't have a dog in the fight for either one. I'm nonpartisan, but under the Democrats, they keep Black people asleep and docile by giving us that little carrot on the string, never giving us the ball to just completely go run with it and say, here's the tools to go build a business, opposed to, or here's a couple extra more dollars on your food stamp card. Or, the Democrats who are fighting for more public housing, opposed to teaching us how to go buy our own house. So that's what I think a lot of Black people who are supporting Trump mean when they say that, that he's showing them where the money is, per se.
I want to distill this rumor right here. Penny Thompson said these young folk are not all over the place. They are on it. That's a lie. Do politicians cater to young people, or do they cater to seniors? The seniors are the ones that are going in those voting booths. They are the ones that being responsible. The people that need the most financial help are not going into the voting booths. They're not walking in there. If that was the case, Brad Scarface Jordan would have walked away with his election. You young people are not going into the voting booth. And that's not true. Look at the numbers. They are there. Young people are not voting, and that's why politicians ignore you every single day and ignore your issues.
Well, and Donovan made the point earlier in regards to when they did screw over Bernie Sanders for the second time, if you will. The young people in that age, from the 18, I think it said 25, they're disenfranchised. They're the one that's holding, getting out of school. They're holding a lot of student loan debt. They can't get a job to pay it off. And so nobody is really speaking to the things that they need, like a Bernie Sanders or a Andrew Yang was doing. So you have these two old crotchety dudes, Trump and Biden, who are catering to older white people, regardless of what you say. They're catering to the white people, but they're pandering, especially the Democrats, to the black people. And so that age demographic is left out. And so they're just, hunching their shoulders like, well, why should I bother? Half of them don't even want to work no more because it's like, I don't want to go work at Taco Bell, with a college degree. And they shouldn't have to do that.
Well, first of all, I look at the kid itself. I look at the parent. When you look at the degrees, you go and you take sociology. You live in the state of Texas. So you're going to be a parole officer and make $30,000 a year. $35,000 a year. Get a degree plan that will put you in a position and a career that can help you make the money. Now, some of y'all, you put yourself in debt because you want to put all these degrees on your back. You want your bachelor's, you want your master's, you want your PhD, you want all that. And then when you wake up one morning and you look at them student loans, then that's when you start screaming, they need to get rid of the student loan debt. Well, ain't nobody told you go get all them goddamn degrees. You really probably didn't need but one or two of them. You chose to go get 4. So, but me, I would have told you start your own company and don't go get none.
Well, I would say this, because I'm a college graduate. I got 2 degrees. I rarely ever talk about them because I'm like, as I said last night, degrees don't get you hustle. But I'm one of those people. My daughter has a degree. I'm one of those people. I'm big on going to get your education because we got a lot of people out there who need some education, like some formal training, right? But when my mom and, dad and, the people before us was going to school, they didn't amass this big, giant student loan debt. They could go to school for next to nothing. Hell, I remember when I started junior college, I think the units was like $2 and $3 a piece. Now they're what, $20, $30, $50 a unit or something crazy. So
you went to school with the Flintstones?
That was at junior college, but I'm sure junior, and I don't know what it is now, but I'm sure junior college it's more. But the point that I'm making is people should be able to go to school like we used to and not have to die with debt. My daughter had a professor who said that he's got $500,000 worth of debt, and admittedly now, because I hate people that try to shame people. I don't hate people, but I hate when people try to shame people for going to school. A lot of those people got all of that debt because when the economy crashed in 2008, a lot of those people's jobs went away. And so going to school was the next best thing, in addition to not having the money to make ends meet. So people got student loans, not just to, go to school, but they got student loans to eat. And so I think we need to look at the whole story, and hell, back in the day, I remember when I was getting my
if you're going to amass a bunch of student loans, then get a degree that can help you get a decent career.
But see,
don't be no star football player and go up in there and major in basket weaving and then tear your damn knee up and mad because you're working in the flower shop.
But see, the other part that people are not saying is, regardless of what kind of job you get nowadays, as Donovan says, a lot of these old cats ain't getting up off those jobs. There's people who are dying on the job in their 70s. Back in the day, people retired at a decent age and made room for these people getting out of college to go get these jobs. But what jobs? So I agree with you in that people should go start their own businesses.
I just want to make a comment when Demetra said that, people should be able to go to college like we did. Now, when we went to college, Demetra, it was $11 a unit, which is still fairly nothing. But what Demetra's not telling you, there's an actual picture on her Facebook page where she's sitting on the quad and not going to class and hanging out. And that's what we used to do.
So, but, today I met a lot of people, both sides of the fence, Democrat and Republican, that, I felt that if they were Republican, I walked away from that conversation knowing that they really didn't understand any policies that Trump may have passed to help them. The Democrats that I was speaking to, a lot of them didn't understand how the Democrats abused them, and we're just gonna vote for Biden just because we don't like Trump. So I'm like, I'm listening to him, I'm being nice, not trying to be disrespectful in any way. But then I walk off and be like, man, these people dumb as a bag of rocks. And that's what made me call you, because I know after today that some people do not need to go in the voting booth. I'm sorry. I don't care what you think. I don't care how educated you are. You can have a PhD and you can still be dumb as a bag of rocks. Especially some of y'all that's taking your courses online, letting your homegirl do your homework. So I'm just telling you the real, man. Some of y'all don't need to go in the voting booth.
Well, I just want to say this. We have to stop telling our kids that lie. And the lie is this. Now, in our age group, Gary and stuff like that, remember our parents used to tell us, and it was true then, go to college, you're going to get a good job. That is not true anymore. That is not true, because now you got these kids, they all got degrees, but there's no jobs and they've got the debt. So, number one, stop telling that lie and start getting these kids into vocation and getting to know different things. And like you said, not everybody, you should educate yourself. That's true. But unfortunately, the degree that you get, 9 times out of 10, you're not even going to work in that field. So
let me try this with you two. Do you guys have a favorite nephew or niece that loves to swim? Love to swim. Okay, I would tell them, when you graduate from high school, get on the road and go up to Louisiana right before you get to Lafayette, Louisiana. I want you to go to diving school. I want you, because you love to swim, I want you to go to diving school. You're going to get a loan for $12,000. They're going to put you through diving school. Now, when you finish with that, what you're going to do is you're going to be a deep sea diver. That means when they move drilling rigs, you're going to go underwater and drop the anchors on the ocean floor. Now, I want you to understand that when you leave your house, from the time you leave your house, you're on a 24-hour clock. That means you're getting $160 per diem per day. That also means that you're getting $40 an hour. So think about it. After a day and a half, you're already in the overtime. All right? So you're on this clock, and then you're normally going to be out there 7 days. So you do the math. And once you hit 40, you're making $60 an hour to dive. But every time you dive, which is at least 3 to 4 times a day, you're going to get $400 just to dive. That has nothing to do with your regular pay. So now you do the math. You got $12,000 in loans, and if you go on one assignment, your loans are paid for. Now, how did I learn that? Because I was on a drilling rig, and I was a cook, and I would have to feed the divers. These dudes making $18,000 a week and ain't got no college degree. All you need is a high school diploma. That's it. So there are jobs out there that we don't even know exist, where we can make tons of money. You see what I'm saying? But that's where the counselors come into play in the schools. Bring these offshore companies in there. Like in Houston, they have culinary arts. I go to a community meeting one morning at Jeff Davis High School, one of the top culinary arts schools in the Houston Independent School District, and they did not even know about offshore catering as a job. And you know what was crazy? You know who the vendor was serving the people? Serving the kids everyday lunch? One of the top offshore catering vendors in the world, Aramark. It's jobs out there, man. You just got to know what field to go in.
Well, and I say this all the time. I got a 27-year-old daughter, and I tell her, I don't care what it is you want to do with your life. Make sure it's what you want to do. Don't go into something just for the money, because everybody else is doing it. And, sometimes having a job that pays you a lot of money, that don't mean that you're going to be happy. I told my daughter since very little, do what it is you love. Because my mom told me that Do what you love, and the money will come. Now, if somebody wants to go to college, go to college. You know, if you want to work on a rig or whatever, you do that too. But you should do ultimately what's going to give you peace at night. When you lay down, you say, you know what? I woke up today doing something that I love. But I'm one of those people, I really dislike the conversation because I see it a lot. And it's just me personally. I see it a lot on Facebook. Oh, you know, people who went to college, you stupid. You ain't making it. First of all, you don't know what people doing with they money. If you didn't go to college and you didn't get into a lot of debt, whatever, good for you. But there are some people who wanted to go to college and they're dealing with that for whatever reason. But I don't think we should get in the habit of demonizing people for going to get an education.
JJ says sometimes you have to compromise your dreams and be realistic. That is one of the realest comments I've seen, because I had no damn clue that I would sell hot dogs, peanuts, and popcorn and make $300,000 a year. I was doing something I had no clue. So sometimes you're going to have to do what you really don't want to do to make the money you want to make. And I think that when you know, the other night you were talking about how basketball players are living paycheck to paycheck. You know, if you want to live like the Joneses, you're going to have to make the money. If you want to walk like a baller, you're going to have to, you want to talk like a baller, you're going to have to walk like a baller. So if you go get a college degree and don't get a job in the field that you want, you know, maybe you might need to try something else if that degree can help you get there. But I know some people get the degrees, they just get stuck. No, this is the job I want. Okay, well, you keep running to the unemployment office, you might get it. In the meantime, you got to feed your family.
You know, I would say this. Whenever I sacrificed my dreams to be realistic, I was unhappy as a mug, okay? So I stopped doing that. I haven't formally punched a clock. It's been a while since I formally punched a clock, and I'm not even to tell you, I'm the queen of hustle, okay? I ain't gonna starve for nobody, but you know what I get? Every day, I get my time. I wake up when I want to wake up. I go to sleep when I want to go to sleep. And if I want to go to, if Donovan says, hey, Demetra, what you doing September 17th? We going to Africa? Oh, it's not a problem, brother. My bags are packed, because you know why? I ain't got to ask nobody. Can I go? And that's another reason why I don't punch a clock, because I ain't asked nobody, can I go to the bathroom? Can I take vacation? Or none of that, because the minute you tell me no, I'm out of there. So the point that I'm making is, yeah, I understand you got to, because I believe in doing what you got to do. Don't get me wrong. But every time I sacrificed my dreams to be realistic, I was very unhappy. So I'm one of those people to tell you, you know, go after what it is you want, whatever it is. Because when you make yourself a plan B, you also make excuses sometimes to fail. That's just me.
What's your opinion, you know, on what we talked about? Some of these people don't need to go in the voting booth. Don't get scared now.
Me? Oh, you know, hey.
Don't get scared now.
One of my degrees has taught me to speak very well. I would say this, and I would say this as far as Republicans and Democrats or whatever party you ascribe to. I think if you, for one, don't know the issues, you don't know about the person you're voting for, or any of that, anything really, even the basics of the voting process, I don't think you should even be allowed to go in there. In fact, I think you should have to take some sort of, 5-question questionnaire. Okay, who are you voting for? Blah, blah, blah. Why do you want to vote for them? Do you know what their issues are, what their policies are, where they like, give us, some feedback about why you're voting. If you can't do that other than, I want to get rid of Trump, or I want to make America great again, I think you should have to go back home, study, and then you can come back as an informed voter. That's just my opinion, because I talk to a lot of people, and I'm like, and they let you in the voting booth, huh? I mean, I know that sounds a little bit like the voter suppression, if you will. I don't mean it to come off like that, but sometimes you just have to wonder, like, And you really finna go in there and make, because you know it's the people who are most uninformed that make the decisions for the rest of us and F up the rotation for everybody else. Donovan?
Yeah, I mean, you remember when I was running for office and we're fighting corruption in my city here, we had older generation fail. And, you know, yes, I do mean to say that respectfully because that term is factual. Baby boomers got us to where the country's fucked up right now. Excuse my language. But you remember it was these baby boomer generation fail types that were voting for a project and didn't even know the ramifications of what they were voting for. So yeah, I'm with you. You should need some kind of test or something before you go in. If you don't know the issues, you shouldn't be voting.
I see it, man, and like I say, today was an eye opener for me because if you, regardless of who you're gonna vote for, then what issues, you know, that you looked at in his platform made you want to vote for him, and you can't really get those answers from people. You know, the black folk want to say, well, Trump is racist. Well, Biden is too. Whether you want to accept it or not, he is too. So if you don't want to vote for a racist, you can't vote for either one of them. And that's how I feel. I mean, so if that's your lone reason, you shouldn't be able to vote for either one of them. But it's your prerogative who you vote for. I just think some of y'all are not responsible when you go into the voting booth because your pastor done told you who to vote for. The union done told you who to vote for. You see what I'm saying? You're not voting with your knowledge of the candidate. You're voting based on what somebody told you to do. Now, what your pastor didn't tell you is that when he told you to vote for so-and-so, he didn't tell you they promised to give him a grant when they get in office, or they promised to put him on a committee so he could make some money. That has nothing to do with you. But you will go in there, and I watch them. I watch these pastors bring busloads of people, charter buses of people to the polls on election day. But ain't nobody getting off that poll under 30. They only go after older people because they consider them the responsible voters. So you folk that seem to need the stimulus the most, that always need the hurricane help, you will not get off your ass and vote. You will not get off your ass and vote, but you the first one in line for school supplies. I'm just telling you the real. And you're going to get them school supplies for 4 years, free. And they come up with a $1,400 prom dress.
Well, shit.
But it's true though. I mean, you know, usually during that time of year, seriously, I will look, especially down south, and you'll see some of these young 15, 16-year-old girls dressed to the nines. And you're like, where are they going? To some kind of ball or whatever. And then you look at where they're from and you're like, damn, they're from the Ninth Ward in New Orleans or, you know, somewhere just real jacked.
I want to read T Lady Battle's comment. Why are we even having this discussion if they go after older people? We're not in our 70s and 80s. We shouldn't be having this discussion about voting. Stop. Why is it that when every time somebody challenges your mind or your thinking, intellectual, strong black woman, you feel like nobody should be able to tell you nothing? That is the reason we suffer every day. That's the reason that we are not where we're supposed to be, because our people just don't want to listen. They feel they know everything. Well, unless you got your 40 acres hid away in the country and your mule is inside your garage behind your 300, your ass ain't no better off than mine. And I listen every single day. Come on, man. We got to start thinking for ourselves. And we got to start using our brain for what it's worth. If not, I need you to sing a new song. You know, every night I come up with a hit song. I retarded, I so retarded. You can't think for yourself. If your pastor is telling you who to vote for, say it with me. I retarded, I so retarded. If your union is telling you you need to vote for this person, I retarded, I so retarded. Use your own damn mind.
Yeah, but she brings up a good point, but I'm going to answer that. Why are we even having this discussion? Because our age group is on deck. We're next in line. So if we can't have this discussion now, when are we supposed to have it? When we're 70? I wouldn't give a damn at that point. I wouldn't give a damn. So we need to have the discussion. I mean, when are we supposed to have it? That's what I want to know. When are we supposed to have it?
You also cannot teach them that what they say you can. I don't know. I don't have a dog, so I don't know if it's true or not, but you can't teach a dog, an old dog, new tricks. And not to liken older people to dogs or old dogs, but they're set in their ways. They're going to, vote the way they're going to vote. In addition to, those people have what they need. They've got, probably a house, they're stable, they're getting a good pension, retirement, and all of that. So they're going to continue doing what they're doing. Well, we're trying to talk to the people who are not at that level and the people whose minds are a little bit more on the softer side to where they can absorb some new information. Older people are typically can't absorb new information because I've been doing this way for 50 years. Okay, Grace, you're probably going to do it for 50 more years. But we're trying to talk to people who can at least say, that is a good point. So that's
real quick. If you look at the comment I just reposted, it says, I don't need nobody. This is what T Lady just said. I don't need anybody to tell me how to vote. This is an independent personal thing. How to vote. My ancestors died for me to vote. And they did not die in vain for my voting rights to be in the opening. That is something personal. Go ahead and get her.
I'm going to tell you this here. I love you, T Lady. But your ancestors didn't die for you to be stupid either. Do you understand that right now they're telling you need to vote in the mail? Regardless if you vote in the mail or walk into the voting booth, when you get there, you don't have to say your ABCs backwards. You don't have to go up there and recite every county in Texas. This is what your people went through. They gave you an opportunity to do something. So I'm gonna challenge you. Since you said that, when we speak of voting, I need you to call whoever is your city council member, whoever is your state representative, your Congress, your Senate, senator. And I want you to ask them, matter of fact, why don't you just get to Sheila Jackson Lee and ask her, since voting is so imperative and our ancestors died for it, why in the hell we got to renew our voting rights every 25 years? Why every 25 years they got to give us the right to vote? So what happens in the next 25 when it comes up and they say, well, you know what? We don't want to give it to them. What you gonna do then? Everybody and their mama gonna want to run to the voting polls then. What I'm saying is I'm there. I am at the voting polls. I am watching youngsters pass by the polls. Oh, I ain't voting. I ain't got no voting registration card. It's called a voter's registration card. I know you ain't got no voting registration card. Say, man, we got to wake up, man. We got to wake up, man. And that's the problem. We don't want to.
And again, I mean, I think T Lady has been on here a few times, but she still insists on repeating that lie that our ancestors died for our right to vote. It didn't die for our right to vote. They died so we could get something for the vote. You'd have to be pretty silly to think that the ancestors just said, listen, and their lives was taken from them. Let's get that straight. But you got to be pretty silly to think that they just wanted you to make it in the booth and just vote because I died. No, they wanted you to actually move the ball, actually get something for your vote. There's no way in hell that we as Black people should be where our ancestors that you talk of. And there's no way we should still be where they were when they were dying for our rights to vote. We should have been moved the ball. We shouldn't even be having this discussion right now.
Well, here's the thing. Should I put another comment up from them? They're giving y'all the right to vote. I have the right to vote. Now I'm going to challenge you. If I am wrong, the war zone never comes on again. Every 25 years, they have to give us the right to damn vote. If I'm wrong, the war zone is gone. We don't have to do this here because we're giving you the information. And that's the problem. Get out your goddamn feelings, black woman, and educate yourself. So if you got a right to vote and I don't know nothing about that, I might need to kick it with you. I might need to kick it with you. But baby, stop. I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer. I sit on a panel every night with two of the most intelligent African-American people I've ever met. And I never try to overstep those boundaries and act like I know more than them. But in some things I do. And they listen to me and I listen to them. That is our problem as a people. Oh, I know this. I ain't got to listen to what don't. Just like you don't have to listen to nobody here that tells you Biden gonna put that wood to your ass once he win, if he wins.
I mean, apparently, Miss Battles is a little bit upset because I could tell she mad typing. A lot of it is,
you know, read her last comment again. It says, "You contradict yourself about people saying things about people on Facebook, and they don't know you. You you contradicted. You don't know nothing about. She can't spell that. That's okay. About me, you don't know shit about me, and I mean nothing. So don't go at me personally. Come to this goddamn phone. Why do we have to start cursing? That's what we're talking about right there.
You know what? I see my baby on here. I'm not gonna say her name. And she young woman in her 20s. But she's so consciously woke. She was raised by a strong woman. You feel what I'm saying? That put something in her. And I'm looking at the comments that she making, and I'm just blown away. See, ain't nothing worse. See, when you a young fool, I know one or two things. If you a young fool, you're gonna end up being an old fool. And if you an old fool, you're gonna be ass out, man. If you on public assistance, if you living in subsidized housing, ain't nothing wrong with that. But when you gonna make that move? What does it take for you to make that move? When are your elected officials gonna help you or guide you to something that can actually help you? Say, man, stop. And I ain't talking about T-Lady. I'm talking about anybody in general. Stop being old and dumb. And no, you don't have to do nothing, I'm telling you. You don't have to do anything that I recommend. But I know one damn thing. I'm going to do everything I'm telling you. And I'm going to wake up every morning and ain't got a worry in the world. The only worry I'm going to have is my health. And I'm getting that in order. Just being on this damn trip, I can't eat the way that I wanted to eat. And I was doing great. No meat. I didn't want to eat meat no more. But since I'm stuck on this trip, fast food, here we go with that. And I don't even want to eat it no more. You see what I'm saying? Just like I took the advice of y'all tonight. Gary, you need to wear your mask. I didn't book. That's what I said. Since y'all want me to wear it, I'm going to put it on. So let's just think about this a different way. I'm not here to battle you. We're not here to battle you. We're just trying to give you information.
T-Lady says, tell me something good about black folks. Well, we're not going to play those games with you because if we didn't believe black people were good or were able to do good, we wouldn't be here. You know how many places, I live in Southern California. You know how many places I could be right now, you know, hence Corona. But you know where I could be? I could be anywhere. I don't have to be doing this every night. And then Friday afternoon and Sunday afternoon, there's 152,000 other places I could be if I didn't think black people were good or I didn't love black people. See, that's you getting in your emotions because a lot of, and that's what I said sometimes, and I get it. I get why Marcus Garvey said there's some Negroes who are no good here and they're not going to be no good over there in Africa when we're trying to go because you can't take in new information. Instead of you hearing what's being said, you all in your emotions and you mad. I see you took exception to something Donovan said about the girls in the dresses when Darian Donovan was talking about the girls in the prom dresses and stuff like that. And you've had an axe to grind since. That's the hill you gonna die on? Really? And are you proud of the fact, and Gary and Donovan, I'm going to ask y'all right now, stop reading her comments, because we've allowed her to distract us for the last 10 minutes or so with her nonsense. You're not going to change her mind. Let her go in there and vote for Kermit the Frog if she wants to. It makes me know, never mind. We talking to the people who are really going to at least think about what we're saying. We're not saying we're always right, but I get tired, like, and Gary on my show, and on my page, I block people. I just start blocking people, because what you're not going to do is keep coming on here with your ignorance, because there's always the people who are so ignorant that are the most certain. So let's stop even addressing T-Lady battles. Let her go to the page where they do all that caping and stuff for white supremacy, and they get mad over silly stuff. Let her go wherever that page is.
I tell you what, some of the conversations that I had today, and it wasn't when I was speaking to Caucasian Americans, white people, it wasn't about white supremacy. It was about money. See, everybody think everybody out here is a Klan. Man, please. You got some bankers out here. You got, people working the stock market out here. Lawyers, doctors. Man, them people talking about money. They talking about money, man. And we asleep at the wheel when it comes to them conversations about money, because we still waiting on that 1,200.
I mean, and I see that somebody, for those of you guys who've seen Harry Potter, there was this character in the series. They said the one we don't say his name, well, his name was Voldemort. And so from now on, we're going to speak to the people who are distractors. We're going to call them Voldemort. We will not say their names, but I see Voldemort says she want to slap the piss out of me. I guarantee you better slap me dead. If you ever get a chance to get next to me, you better slap me all the way to sleep, because I promise you're going to wish you did.
Well, what we don't want to do, and we got to always remember what Malcolm said, no matter if it's that lady, no matter who it may be, that when the revolution starts, we're going to have to get rid of some of our own people. It's what Brother Malcolm said, man, and that's the truest statement I've ever heard in my life.
And I want to tell Terry this too. I mean, the T-Lady, whatever, Voldemort. I want to tell Voldemort this. Go look at my cover page, and there's a nice little quote on there from Malcolm X. If you ever think you want to get froggy with me, just go to that quote right there always.
I think that, like I said, and I believe in it all day long, that we don't want to hear the truth as African Americans. And when I say we got to get rid of some of our own people, that's a true statement. I'm sorry, but it's not disrespectful to nobody unless it affects you. So if I stepped on your toes with that comment, that means you're the one that I need to get rid of, because you wouldn't be offended by it if it didn't affect you. Let it roll off you like water. If I say that some of y'all don't need to go in the voting booth because you're not being responsible, if it doesn't pertain to you, let it roll off you like water. I know a lot of these people personally that sit on this show every night, and I know they do the research. You know what I'm saying? But some of y'all are not. You're faking. If we're going to have a black discussion, like I told my friend from Oklahoma City, we was like, sometimes, man, no, when it comes to a black discussion, that's a tough discussion. But what we're going to have to do, we're going to have to keep it 100 at all times. You see what I'm saying? Some of y'all are really Malia Davis. You don't give a damn about your children. You'll leave them with any man. Some of you dudes don't believe in taking care of your households. That's a black discussion. That ain't anything I'm naming ain't got nothing to do with the white man, Republicans or Democrats. That's a black discussion. But see, when we bring this up, you don't want to have the discussion. So you revert to name calling or stuff like that. I enjoy the conversations, and I enjoy talking to people. That's why, I had a ball today just talking to people, man. See, I'm stepping outside of my box. So if you're telling me I need to vote Democrat, okay, I'm hearing everything you saying. But let me go to the Trump rally and talk to the Republicans. Let me hear what they talking about. And see, when I'm holding them conversations, they talking about money, man. And like Devin said, money can't buy me love, but it can get me some.
And I agree with you guys. You know, we should try to keep it professional, but sometimes you gotta let people know my heart don't pump no Kool-Aid.
You know, it's kind of funny. It's kind of funny, real quick, D, because like there'll be a day when I might go. There might be a day that Jerry goes. I mean, now today's your day. So there we go. Everybody's good.
I'm gonna tell you something. What we have is human moments. We have human moments. People push out, even though we supposed to sit here, be professional. You can say the wrong thing and it'll push our buttons. We're human too. And more importantly, we're trying to educate our people. So I can tell right now, some of y'all had a problem in school listening. You had a problem in school listening. You couldn't take direction because you thought you knew everything. That's why when you play football for me, shut your mouth. Just do exactly what I tell you to do. We'll walk into the championship game. I don't need you to coach the team. So, you know, I just think, like I say, these people are talking money. And a lot of these people feel Trump has made them a lot of money. And guess what? For those that were calling those young black guys today coons because they were selling shirts, what would you rather them do? Would you rather them be out there selling them shirts or running up in your Democratic ass house? You can have it any way you want it. I would rather them be out there selling shirts, making an honest living, regardless of who they selling it for. You see what I'm saying? So that's just me in a nutshell.
No, but absolutely. I mean, like I said, it's almost as if we're damned if we do, we're damned if we don't. Like I said, they opened their business, what we should be doing in our communities, and they're trying, you know, to get that stuff off the ground and go. Like I said, if I can get me a bunch of Trump shirts and go down to Orange County, California, which is a Republican bastion, I'd make a fortune. I would make a fortune. Who wouldn't do that? That has a business mind.
The same dude that they was calling a coon today. Remember, I went to 3 or 4 different stands in tents. He owned all of those. He's a convicted felon. He owns all of those tents. So while you were still eating leftover barbecue from Juneteenth, he'd have made about 20 G's in one day. I would rather him be doing that than to be out there breaking in somebody's house, because I know the day they let him out, the last thing they told him, you'll be back. Don't look like he's going back to me.
Yeah, I mean, I think especially we in the Black community, we do tend to think we're monolithic and that we all should be alike. We should think alike. We should all say the same things, but that's just not true. You know, and I don't think you should demonize a person for wanting to vote for Trump. Now, are there some people out there like your diamonds and silks that, you know, be doing a whole lot? Yeah, you know, but there are some people out there who are genuinely wanting to vote for Trump because they have a good reason. Now, I tell you, if I was doing a stint in prison and I was out under a program that he came up with, I probably wouldn't go vote for him. I mean, just really the simple, you know, to return the favor. And so I think that's what people are misunderstanding, is that voting is transactional. You're supposed to get something for your vote, whatever that is. If this candidate is going to do something you like, then go ahead and do that.
I think that you really need to elaborate on the transaction part, because I don't think a lot of people get that. I don't think they get that, and that's why they revert back to the ancestor line. My ancestors died for me to vote. You know, break that transaction down for them.
To me, it's just really as simple as you going into the store. You're not going to just leave your money on the counter. You know, if you were going in there to get something, you're not going to say, well, it wasn't anything I want. I'm just going to leave my money on the counter. If the store doesn't have something you want, then you're going to take your money with you in return when they have something you want. Voting is the same thing. But too long, we as Black people have just gone in there on the premise of our ancestors did it. Well, because my mom and them did it, and great-grandma, and we voted all blue and all that other stuff, I'm going to do it too. But again, I mean, I think you should just look at historical data, and you don't have to be great at math or nothing, but even if you say, okay, well, it's been about 60 years, give or take, and we are still in the same condition as Black people, but to the tune of it, even when Barack Obama was in office, was what, 96% of Black voters voted for Barack Obama, and Black people traditionally vote for Democrats overall, and we haven't gotten anything for it. Don't you think common sense should kick in after a while? Like, maybe we need to do something differently if we want to get something.
You know, from a man point of view, now she broke it down so eloquently. I'm going to break it down from the hood. Y'all ready now? It's strictly for the projects. If a woman is easy, you might need to watch yourself. Because all coochie ain't good coochie. All coochie ain't good coochie, man. Now, I'm going to break that down for you, man. How long they been putting this wood to us on the Democratic side?
About 80 years or so, 80 plus.
Let's go 80 years. Now, let's take it back to Brown versus the Board of Education. Why are we still talking about education in 2020? Well, what, almost 70 years? So in all that time, they did something with education. Why are we still talking about voting rights in 2020? I thought they took care of that. That's why I'm telling y'all, I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer. But I mean, something's not adding up. It's just not adding up. You see what I'm saying? Let's talk about mass incarceration. Okay, you say Biden, I'm going to take you back to Nixon. That's when the numbers really started going up for us. Remember, Nixon, then Reagan had what? A war on drugs? You know what I'm saying? This has been going on forever. But while all this is going on, what is our representation doing? But every time it's getting close to vote, they come in and make these promises about what they're going to do. And then once they're voted in, you don't see or hear from them no more until 4 years later. And then they come with the same old promises with a couple of more stacked on top of it. So my question is, if we still begging for the same thing that we were begging for in the 60s, then which Democratic sucker did what they were supposed to do? Tell me which one of them did it. I'm sick of being a bias.
Yeah, you know, and it's kind of funny that we're kind of talking about this, because as for Congress, you got to go every 2 years. So they spend half their time in elections, you know, raising money and all that other stuff, right? So if you're a true Democrat as a Black person and you vote Democrat all the time, do you guys know that this upcoming election, there might be a lot of Democratic leadership and Democrats in general that are going to be upended, because people, these young people, are tired. You don't hear the Republicans talking about being upended, and you got a few in there, but we're talking about Steny Hoyer. He's the Democratic leader in the House. Nancy Pelosi is having problems. I mean, you can go down the line. These people that have been in there for years are being upended, and the Democratic Party might lose the majority in the House.
I'm gonna go a step further. I'm gonna put the money. I'm gonna put the money on red, man. If this was a roulette wheel, I'm gonna put the money on red, dog. They gonna lose them seats, man, because they ain't did nothing. And then okay, the people with supposedly the influence, you know, the Puffies and all these people, they turning on them now. They tell them you burnt us. You see what I'm saying? You lied to us, and now you got some influential people saying, Obama didn't do nothing for us. You lied to us. We got him in there. So now it's like people don't want to take their chance no more, man. People are fighting for their grandchildren, man. They're fighting for their legacies, man. Nobody wants their grandchildren to go through the shit that we done been through for the last 40, 50 years, man. These kids need an actual shot, dude. They need a shot, man. That's just me. Let's go to final thoughts, Ms. Demetra.
Absolutely.
Well, you know, my final thought is, I think we should, you know, we should educate ourselves on what it is we're actually doing. Stop going in there, you know, with the talking points. Auntie Maxine, she's reclaiming her time. So you think, you know, that is a reason to go and vote Democrat? I don't know. But, you know, make sure you understand what you're doing. And like Gary said, make sure that your vote is also setting the table for the rest of us in the future. So what if we get Trump in there for 4 more years? Black people have been going through hell since we've been here. Neither party has made a big difference for Black people. We're still broke. We're still the most unhealthiest people on the planet. We still are not homeowners. I think they said we're just, we haven't owned as many homes. We own more homes before segregation than we do now. I mean, we're like just totally bad off. And so neither party is helping Black people. The only solution we have as Black people is to start doing for self like everybody else does. Now, when I say everybody else, I mean like the Asians. When is the last time you saw Asians up in arms about who they voting for? We voting blue no matter who. We deny because they got their own money. They got their own communities. They are doing their own things. And if they need some money, they go under their mattress and they pull out a big brick of some racks. And they say, oh, you want to open up a beauty supply in a Negro neighborhood? Yeah, here. How much you need? They don't have to worry about banks being racist to them and all that because they got their stuff together. That's what we need to do as Black people. Start practicing group economics and stop getting wrapped up into who's going to help us. Hell, we got to help ourselves first. My dad always says, I will help you, but I'm not going to help you do nothing. So when we as Black people start doing stuff for ourselves, then everybody else is going to say, well, what can we do to help you? You know why? Because they know it's going to be something in it for them to actually really help us. Just some food for thought.
Well, let me jump on your back with that when you brought up Maxine. I remember when Trump first got in office, a couple days after the election, not got in office, but after the election. And Maxine Waters made all these promises about what she was going to do. I'm going to run this and I'm going to. You ain't did a goddamn thing.
Hey, before we go, hey, you guys, thanks for tuning into the War Zone. For all those dads out there, happy Father's Day. You know, it's unfortunate that when Mother's Day comes, we got to bring the flowers, the candy, and we take them out to dinner, which is great, which is what we're supposed to do. But then when Father's Day hit, why is it that we got to cook on our day and barbecue and do all that other stuff? Can y'all take us out? Can we have that? But happy Father's Day to those fathers out there. And I just want to leave you guys with this. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting a different result. All I can say.
Say, man, that's real. The definition of insanity. I wanna take the time out to say Happy Father's Day to all the fathers, not just the quote unquote the ones that's doing good, the ones that's going through some things that don't have the financial means to do what they want to do, the ones that are at home that may be sick, you know, but yet they still get up every day and they lay it on the line for the family and for the house, man. And say Happy Father's Day to all of them and thank everybody that wished me a Happy Father's Day. I appreciate it. But as usual, even though it's Father's Day, you know, I'm you know, tomorrow is Father's Day, but I'll be on the road for y'all. So I want to thank all those people that take the time out to send any type of money to keep the war zone going, man, because this is y'all's show. You know, when you make a donation, that is what this show is not free. Let's get that straight. It's not free. So I appreciate that. I appreciate my two co-hosts. I love y'all to death, man. And it is what it is. We might We ain't never really had an argument. We argue a different way. But the one thing we all own is we arguing about getting this money. I need y'all to get on that money train, man. So, you know, I appreciate you guys with everything in my power. And we look forward to come and talk to y'all. But I think tomorrow is the last day. If somebody wants to come on and talk about, you know, some things that may have happened to them with law enforcement, then come on. I mean, we'll do that, man, and let you speak your truth. Go ahead, Ms. Demetri.
Can I make a suggestion? Maybe we should, you know, talk about all things fathers, Father's Day, because we all have or have had a father at one point in time in our life. And I just want to address this comment really quick, and I think we really should talk about this too. Sharon, I'm sure you're a great individual. I'm sure that you've had to do a lot of things. You know, perhaps the father wasn't there, but ain't no way in hell you a father and a mother. Because if you're a father and a mother, then maybe you're a hermaphrodite. I don't know. But I want to say this. Women, please, 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 don't do that to the men. Don't do that to the men. Talking about happy Father's Day to me. You're not no man. Don't do that to the fathers. Let the men have their day. You don't need to get in there and beat on your chest about how, you know, you're doing both jobs of a father. Listen, kudos to you, but maybe do that on Monday or something, but don't do that on their day.
And that's something that normally bothers me every year. I get it that you're a single mom, but some of y'all are single by choice. So, you know, it's not that the dude don't want to be there. Some of y'all got too much goddamn baggage. And you run a motherfucker crazy when they living up in there with you. Yeah, the coochie might be good, but it ain't good enough for me to lose my mind over. So, you know, it's what it is, man. You feel what I'm saying? I'm just telling y'all the truth, dog. So, say, man, I think it was a spirited discussion. And if you want to be on the show, man, whatever you want to talk about, it don't have to be just police. Man, reach out to one of us, man. We'll be glad to bring you on. Say, I want to thank my co-host, Donovan Sadiq, the Queen, Demetri K, and I am the 5-star general. I'm going back outside into this Trump rally, man, because it's going to pop when the sun go down. I can guarantee you. It's going to go down when the sun go down. Until tomorrow. I'll